main office. So there's a couple eyebrows that are raised, and this is where students get a chance to come down before the program or a break and get ice cream. The Choco Taco has been our most popular. And so it's after school, so we don't have to follow those nutritional guidelines, Mr. DeVincenzi. And a quote that was really humorous: they come for the snack and stay for the math. And they work great before and after. So we want to motivate our kids. And it's also, we've seen great turnout from not only our wonderful teachers, the program, but our incentives as well. And this is one example and one teacher how our attendance has been consistent throughout the program. And how the kids to stay for that academic content is something we're really proud of. And now I will turn the mic over to Mrs. Kempsey, who will talk about her ELA program.
Do I really need a microphone? Okay. Hi. Good evening, everyone. So the idea behind the AIS clinic for ELA, and Ms. Calderon is doing the same in her clinic, is to provide the kids with a space where they can be creative and incorporate something that they love. And so we thought that a newsletter would work in that environment. So not only are they working on improving ELA skills, but they're doing it in a way that is not just an extension of the classroom, right? It shouldn't look like an extension of the classroom. It should be a fun, collaborative environment. And so everything that they do is engaging in something that they love, right? So from writing about sports to writing about, baking, an article about baking, they have to be invested in whatever they're writing and whatever they're researching, and that comes across a lot better on paper because they want to write about it. They want to share that information with us. So the board and news, right, that we're putting together will incorporate all of their articles as they work on them, and then we'll share those with the school. Okay.
So our students, they really prepared hard for this. So they created basically some reference points to the program. So now I'll assist my friend Giovanni. So what are some 3 things you like about the ELA after school program?
I like going to get ice cream. This program helps me with ELA. It is a lot of fun, and I really love learning new things about ELA.
Okay, so we have learning new things in ELA, and ice cream was one. Okay. What was your favorite project in the program so far?
Choosing one of our favorite things and writing about why it was good.
Excellent. And then, what do you like most about your teacher?
Miss Kempsey is really helpful and nice.
Awesome job. Thank you, Giovanni. Okay, and now with that, I'm going to transition to our math program represented from Ms. Nunez, and we have Dwayne as well.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So Dwayne is one of my most consistent students in this program, and he's been really enjoying his time with us after school. Like Mrs. Kempsey said, it's not necessarily just an extension of the classroom, but it's really a chance for them to be in a different kind of environment, still practicing their math skills, working together, and they didn't really get a chance to do that last year, so having this opportunity after school every week has been really awesome and nice for them to be able to show their creativity and work together as a team. One of the most recent projects that we've been working on is creating a math cartoon. The students got to choose what kind of setting the cartoon was going to take place in. They thought it would be a great idea to make a game show out of it, and they are showing their skills with simplified expressions, which ends up being one of the major clusters in our curriculum. So the students are working on improving their skills that have, developed gaps over the years because of, the recent events in the world. So, Dwayne, you can tell us what some of your favorite activities have been.
Some of my favorite activities have been like doing homework, and it gets like the stress off me, and we play like games and stuff, and I have a lot of fun.
And of course, the ice cream, right? And this is just a couple slides from the game show math cartoon that they created. They came up with the names, they came up with the pictures, they had to create a dialogue, so it is actually cross-curricular activities that we're doing also, which they're definitely benefiting from. Again, they created all the pictures, all the names, and the script. So I think they've been enjoying it so far.
Thank you to our wonderful teachers and students. Are there any questions from the board?
Any questions?
How many students? If you said it, I missed it, I'm sorry.
So we have 7 teachers and approximately 10 to 12 per cohort. So we're looking at about 80 students overall, approximately.
Wow.
And we're always assessing students. We're always looking at, in terms of data, specifically for the first quarter, reviewing data, and then inviting students that we feel that would benefit from the math or ELA program overall.
A lot of ice cream.
A lot of ice cream.
A lot of ice cream. I'm in on that.
So students, one, I'm very proud of you. One, coming up here and speaking to us in front of an audience. And 2, I'm very impressed by that game you created. I actually, when Mr. Pantaleone shared the PowerPoint with me, I thought actually it was like a software that out there, and I was pretty impressed. But I thought it was cute, the name subtraction. I thought that was kind of neat. I was a math teacher years ago.
Know.
I just want to remind everyone of that. But
What you taught math?
I did.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
And I loved it. So great job. And I also want to thank the teachers, because you'll hear from the elementary at the next meeting. They're going to talk about their program. But in order for this to happen, we needed teachers to take the time to stay after school and participate in this program. And I was so impressed by the response, because as a former teacher, I know, during the day how grueling it is, and finding that extra step to remain after school and work with our kids so that we can close the gaps, of any gaps that do exist, is truly appreciated. And I know the board appreciates that as well.
Absolutely.
It's just another example of the Wallkill family. And again, thank you very much.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, I'll call Mr. Massapus up for accommodation.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mr. Maspus. I'm the principal here at the high school, and I'm pleased to share with you some really exciting news this evening. One of our standout senior musicians has received an incredible accolade, and I'm going to give you a little context to how significant or how great her accomplishment is before I go ahead and introduce her and celebrate her with you. So there are 2 governing bodies outside of the school district that oversee music in schools. One is the New York State School Music Association. The acronym NYSSMA is oftentimes used for that. And we've had students year after year who audition for NYSSMA, and our music program is very strong, so we oftentimes have a solid showing with NYSSMA ensembles and representatives there. And then nationally, the National Association for Music Education then oversees each individual state music association, right? So because we are a member of NYSSMA, then any student who makes NYSSMA or all-state accolades in any musical ensemble has an opportunity to audition for the national, ensembles, whether it be in chorus or band or any of the different musical fields. So in a regular year, to give you a little context in what this young lady has accomplished, there may be anywhere from 40 to 60 soprano singers who are selected for the NYSSMA All-State Choral Ensemble. This year, because of limitations due to COVID-19, that number was cut. They actually didn't admit as many sopranos as they normally do. So only 20 sopranos across the state were selected. She was one of them. So once she was selected to the NYSSMA All-State Choral Ensemble, she had the opportunity to audition for the national chorus. She made that, okay? In our school's history, we've only had 2 students previously make the all-national choir. One was Sean Butler, the other one was Patrick Peachuar. So this is a huge accomplishment. Now a little bit about her background. Senior standout student. She's a key contributor to our SGA, our Student Government Association. She's a member of our National Honor Society, oftentimes dedicating hours outside of her school day, giving back and serving our community. You know, she rarely displays irritability, despite having a totally packed schedule, and being a varsity athlete as well. Cheerleader, a softball player at one point. So she really has a major impact on our school and does a lot for our student body, but also for me. You may have heard her sing the national anthem at a majority of our sporting events over the past 4 years. Funny story about that, you know, as the athletic director, there are some nights where I'm scrambling to find someone to sing. You know, because it's always nice when you have a student singing instead of playing a tape, if you have that opportunity. And as a freshman, she, you know, was on the JV cheer team, and I was scrambling for a singer, and she filled in for me one night, if you can remember that, at a basketball game. And she did so beautifully that I said to her, I said, well, you gotta sing for me at every game moving forward. And she did that. I don't know, I mean, you really did sing at every varsity basketball game, every varsity football game, you know, for the following years. And I really appreciate that. Even when she wasn't cheering, she'd come back and sing. So it's my pleasure to celebrate with you and introduce to you our all-national chorus representative, Madison Rivera. Come on up. Well, in closing, I'll just, thanks again, Maddie. Oh, a round of applause for all of her accomplishments. You know, the magnitude of that event, that all-national chorus ensemble, it was scheduled to be in San Diego, right? And again, because of COVID restrictions, they've moved to an all-virtual performance. So Maddie's going to be rehearsing January 21st through the 24th. The following week, the choral ensemble will be recording videos, and then during the Music in Our Schools month, the all-national chorus and all the all-national musical ensembles will be putting together a presentation, and it'll be available digitally for everybody. So congratulations again, Maddie. We are very proud of you.
So, Madison, we are definitely going to miss you singing at our athletic events. I will never forget the first time you were singing, and I'm like, who is that? Like, this is incredible. Because over the years, we've had singers, but then we had to go back to the, you know, the recording. But I gotta tell you, you, hands down, are the best singer that we've ever had when it comes to the national anthem. And I've been here for 21 years, and I've heard several, and I'm not discrediting those. They were good, but you were incredible. You deserve that all-national accomplishment. We're very proud of you, and best of luck in college.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna move along. Great job, Madison. All right, next is, where are we going next? We'll go, we have nobody for public comment. Does anybody want to speak to the board?
I would like to.
All right.
Not related to the board, it's to the community.
You have a mask.
I don't.
You're supposed to wear a mask.
I don't.
They're in the back. If you please grab a mask.
Respectfully decline.
No. I'm sorry, sir. There is no. We have a state order. I just read it before the meeting started. Before you walked in, that you have to be in a mask. You have to be in a mask. There's no ifs or buts about it. You can decline all you want. If you want to decline, and I'll ask you to step out of the room, please. Okay. Well, then please step out of the room. No, we're not going to listen to you speak, sir.
Okay. Well,
Okay. Thank you. No, please, sir. It's not discussion, sir.
January 5th, our state is trying to push forced COVID shots to attend school.
All right. We're going to move along.
Nope. They're gonna
So,
eliminate religious
we're gonna call
exemption.
to order and
They're
second
gonna
pledge,
eliminate
please.
parental consent at the age of 14.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
The
States of
government
America,
will allow
to the
imprisonment
republic
if
for
you
which
are
it stands,
not to get the
one
vaccine.
nation, under God,
The Assemblymember Patrick Buchanan. Clerk. Upcoming bill to eliminate unvaccinated people's access to health insurance. So if you are poor, you are on welfare, and you cannot afford health insurance, you will be forced to be vaccinated. These are things that are coming through on the 5th.
I need a motion to approve the minutes of the 11/17
Have a good one,
regular
everybody.
board
Merry
meeting. Jim, second. Tom, all in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. Next up is the committee reports. First is audit, Mrs. Crawley's the chair. Button.
Excuse me. So, the audit committee has not met since the last board meeting.
All right, that's great. You want to go right to budget?
Yes.
Okay.
As we stated last meeting, the 2022-23 budget process has begun. The rollover budget will be presented to the board in January to be followed by meetings in March and April, as well as updates throughout the development. A meeting was held on December 3rd with the elementary principals and special education department to review preliminary class sizes. We'll meet again to review class sizes in the beginning of February. On December 16th, building allocations of per pupil expenditures will be provided to all departments and building administrators. That's it.
Okay, any other questions for Don? Brian, you have anything or no?
Yeah, so I'll just add, as Donna shared, and we've been talking about, we'll provide you the rollover budget at the January meeting. So just as a reminder, it's taking all the programs currently in the 21-22 school year, rolling that forward. Gives us a baseline as we move forward. At the end of January, usually the governor comes out with a governor's budget, the executive budget. So that'll give us our state aid. That's usually worst case scenario, and then we go from there. And we'll continue to develop our budget as we move forward there. We'll provide you updates in February. Just so you know, it just came out today, the CPI will be 2%. We have been talking about that. It's gonna be over 2%, but the most it can be is 2%. So that'll assist us on the revenue side as we develop the budget. We've talked about that the past couple meetings, but it is gonna be 2% as part of the state tax cap formula. So that'll be something that assists all districts across the state as we move forward. All right, so we'll continue with updates moving forward.
Okay, any questions? Okay, moving along, building and grounds, Mr. Frisbee's the chair. Tom?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Welcome. The Buildings and Grounds Committee, we met on December 2nd. We met with Tetra Tech, who is the district's architects and engineers. We continued to have discussions to finalize a potential scope for an upcoming capital project. That capital project will be included as a separate proposition in May. We did review a potential timeline and the financial impact to the district. We also discussed the financial impact of hiring a construction manager who would oversee the project on our behalf. We do have 2 more meetings scheduled on January 5th and January 12th, each at 6 p.m. in room 126 of the high school. At those meetings, we'll finalize the capital project scope, and as well, we're also going to be interviewing for the respective construction managers, like I previously mentioned, that will oversee the project for us. That's all I have.
Any questions for Tom? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Next is CDEP, Mrs. Anderson is the chair.
Thank you, Jill. The CDEP committee has not met since our last meeting, but we will be meeting on February 16th from 9 to 3 at the high school.
I'm gonna go right to curriculum and tag.
Yes, please. The curriculum committee met on December 7th. Mrs. Werlow, the tag coordinator, provided the committee with an overview of the district's snack program. First Lego League, students have started to meet after school and they're working on their challenge. The tournament details have not been yet announced. Odyssey of the Mind, we have a middle school team and I'm working on securing more students for the high school. High school students will join the middle school team if we're unable to form a high school team. The Region 5 tournament is March 5th, 2022. The Spelling Bee is taking place this Friday, December 17th, at the middle school at 10 a.m. The winner and the first runner-up will represent Wallkill at the 2022 Capital Region Spelling Bee held in Schenectady on February 8th. Mrs. Harrington shared with the committee that the district is exploring the possibility of implementing American Sign Language in the 22-23 school year. We will need to determine student interest and our financial situation prior to deciding whether the program will be added. In addition, we need to ensure that we're able to secure a certified teacher or use an online program through BOCES. Mr. White presented to the committee the district's timeline for K-6 math textbook pilot program. He explained that the district is considering adopting new math textbooks at the elementary level due to the district needs updated material aligned to the New York State Next Generation Learning Standards. We wish to adopt materials that provide materials for students with disabilities and ENL students, provides teachers with data reports to assist them in monitoring student progress, provide teachers with academic intervention support materials, include technology and easy-to-use digital tools to assist students and parents, and includes assessments. Our timeline, at the end of January through March, math mappers will pilot materials in class with students and provide feedback to the administration and other teachers about the program. They will present their findings at the April 26th Curriculum Committee meeting. On May 18th, the Board of Ed adopts the materials, and in the spring of 2022, provide the teachers with professional development for the new program. Our next meeting will be held January 25th, 2022 at 3:30 in the high school. This meeting will be focused on providing the committee with information about our K-6 reading program throughout the district.
Any questions for Catherine? No? Seeing none, we'll move on. We have Health and Safety. Mr. Palin's the chair. Dustin?
Thank you, Joe. The Health and Safety Committee has not met since the last meeting, but has a meeting scheduled for Wednesday, January 19th at 3:45 p.m. in room 126 at the high school.
Thank you, Dustin. Next is Legislative. Mr. Petroselli?
Thank you, Joe. The Legislative Committee has not met since our last meeting, but I'm sure Mr. Castle, Superintendent Castle, has something to discuss. Mr. Castle?
Yeah, so we sent out a survey. Can you hear me?
No.
Oh.
Come on, Kevin, just yell.
There we go. I really don't need a mic, but seeing that we're on TV, I want to make sure everyone hears me. So, we did a survey regarding mandating vaccinations, and I believe that's what that individual was trying to talk about. The response that came back was about 75% of the respondents did not want a mandate for the vaccination, which totaled about 1,200 kids that would impact. I did write a letter to the legislators sharing that information with them. Senator Skoufis's office did call me, and he's willing to meet with me and about 5 parents to further discuss it. So I was able to secure that meeting. That meeting is going to be on, right now, tentatively January 13th. So I want to thank Senator Skoufis for being open to this meeting. I do want to point something out. I mean, I know we're very upset over some of the things that are coming out of Albany and out of and the federal government, but we have rules that we need to follow. That's what we govern by rules. That's what we do as school districts. If we didn't have rules or policies, we would have a system that would be very unruly. We can't have that. That's not what you want either, as parents. You don't want to send your kids to school where it's a chaotic environment, where rules are not enforced. Whatever those rules are, we may not agree with them, But we have we have the ability to advocate for changes. And that's what we do. And we don't like wearing these masks. But we did get something from the state, from New York State Health Department this week, that stated that masks need to be worn in public meetings. So we have an obligation to enforce that. No different than any rule. We can't pick and choose the rules that we enforce. And I don't think that's the way you want us to govern. We don't like it. We don't like sitting up here with a mask. Anytime I speak, I always leave with a dry mouth and scratchy throat. But I do know this, it's a rule, and I have to follow it. And that's what we want to teach our kids. We want to teach our kids that rules do exist. And there's times where we don't really like the rules, but there's a means that we take to those who set the rules, and we're doing that. We have followed through on everything we've said in regards to advocating. We do believe there should be a metrics in place in regards to whether masks should be worn or not. And I will tell you, if there was a metrics in place, masks would be required right now. The transmission rate is very high. I track all this, and I've been tracking it for the last year and a half. It's being transmitted. And you get my letters on a daily basis. And we're seeing more cases now than we have seen in the past. But we gotta stay in school. These kids need to be here. We've had awesome concerts. We've had a drama play. We got athletics going on. We got this great after school programs. I'm in all the buildings. We have great stuff going on. And we need to keep that going. And if we don't comply with what we're doing, we could be shut down. And suddenly our kids are back home. And we can't have that. That's not good for kids. These kids need to be here. So while we get upset over this, and sometimes it causes uncomfortable conversations and situations, you just have to understand where we're coming from. And we do appreciate your cooperation. We'll continue to advocate for our children. We'll continue to advocate for our community. We care about our community. We care about you. And we listen. But we will continue to follow the rules, but we also will advocate. And maybe somewhere along the way, changes will be made. But right now, that's not the case. But hopefully, we'll make some gains, and hopefully we'll see some things get better with this. Until then, we have to comply with what the rules are, and we do appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Castle, and I certainly appreciate it because at the last meeting you had said that you would get this survey out. You certainly did and came back with the information. So thank you very much, and that's it, Joe.
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Mr. Castle, for that. Next up is policy. Mr. Palin is the chair, Dustin.
Thanks, Joe. The policy committee has not met since the last meeting, and our next committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 11th at 6 p.m. in room 126 here at the high school.
Okay, thank you. Next is technology. Mr. Spencer is the chair. Lee.
Thank you, Joe. The technology committee has not met since our last meeting, and we are scheduled to meet February 28th. Thank you.
Okay. Next up is wellness. Mr. Barlone is the chair of that. Dave.
Wellness committee has not met. The next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 4th at 3:30, room 126 at the high school.
Thank you. Next up is our student rep, Daniel Green.
Thank you. At last month's school board meeting, the senior trip was approved. The deposit with the permission slip was due last Wednesday, December 8th. This Friday is also the end of the first 5 weeks of the second quarter. NHS is holding the Holiday Helper fundraiser on Wednesday, December 22nd. Currently, students can place a bid on members of NHS, and they will turn in their money on Monday and Tuesday of next week so that their holiday helper can be with them, and this goes for teachers and students alike. Also, NHS has started pairing Panther mentors with elementary school students, and before and after the break, they're hoping to have their students meet the people they will be mentoring, and then build a connection so that they can go and mentor them. The drama club will hold auditions on Saturday for Cinderella, which they hope to show in the spring. SJ is also running a Holiday Spirit Week next week. Last night, the high school music ensembles held their winter concert. It was a success with multiple pieces to liven the holiday spirit. At the end of the fall season, seniors Sarah Goring and Riley Thomas were named as members of the first team all-section volleyball team. Junior Caitlin Jordy was an honorable mention. Also, Riley Thomas made the fourth team all-state volleyball team. Julian Grice, Cristo Trujillo, Dominic Palella, and Trevor Jones represented Wallkill in the exceptional senior soccer game. And lastly, with our winter sports, boys varsity basketball is currently 4-0, girls varsity basketball is 2-1, and varsity wrestling is 2-0. Thank you.
Outstanding. Any questions for Daniel? No? Seeing none?
Just actually remind me something.
Yes.
So, the high school winter
Here you are.
The high school winter concert was incredible last night. I don't know, I always wonder, do you guys hear what we're hearing out there? I know it must be difficult, but I was so impressed with the song selections, the vocals, and the sound of the music that was coming from all the instruments. It was just really incredible. And I'm so impressed how you and your peers are able to really do what you do, plus excel in the classroom. And, it was 2 hours of just unbelievable experience. Truly appreciate that. I don't know if you kids realize the enjoyment that you bring to us adults. Hopefully you do. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But I got to tell you, thank you for that. And if you could, please share with your peers how appreciative we are of that.
Thank you. And tomorrow I'll make sure to share that information.
Outstanding. Great job. Okay, next is the consent agenda. The use of the consent agenda permits the Board of Education to make more effective use of its time by adopting a single motion to cover those relatively routine matters which are included. Any member of the board who wishes to discuss individually a particular piece of business on the consent agenda may so indicate, and that item will be considered and voted on separately, thus preserving the right of all board members to be heard on any issue. Anything like to be pulled from the board in the agenda? Seeing none, any motion? Any second? Dave? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. I need a motion for the board to enter an executive session to discuss interview of prospective candidate for the position of Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services and negotiations. Second, Dustin. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year.